This is the second newborn elephant sighting that we've actually had the opportunity to go live with. The first was on Juma, and it was very different because the baby was up and wandering about and was actually accompanied by the rest of the herd, whereas with this sighting here in the Mara, Mom was all alone. When we first arrived at the sighting, we saw this tiny little bundle lying in the sand, and I already had a little bit of an anxious feeling about it, so much so that I even told Rebecca to put up a warning for the action broadcast that we were going to do. Then the baby got up and it started to stand, and I sort of started to really feel a bit more hope that she was going to be absolutely fine, but things just deteriorated from there. We sat with her from 10 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And during that time, baby stood up, stumbled, fell down, stood up again. Mom got more and more anxious. She tried to kick the baby, she tried to lift the baby, but at no point was that baby strong enough to be able to suckle. I'm not a vet and I'm not an expert, but what it seemed to me, the problem was that the placenta did not attach from the baby. Our mom did what was natural and instinctive, and she covered it with a whole load of dirt and sand to hide the smell. But the end result meant that the baby was basically tied to one spot, and she was pulling so hard to try and follow Mom, to try and suckle, but she just didn't manage it. And I think in the end it was a baking hot day. It was a newborn baby. It didn't get a drink, and I think ultimately it was dehydration. That whole sighting was such a roller coaster of emotions because I kept feeling such hope that the little one was going to be okay, and then she'd fall down again and she'd go back to sleep. I was desperately trying to encourage the mother to work out exactly what was going on. Again, I haven't seen very many elephants being born. I haven't seen their first moments, but I certainly have never encountered anything like this. And having spoken to the rangers who then called the vet, they have never experienced anything like this either. The most heart-wrenching moment was when Mom finally figured out what was happening, and she pulled the placenta away and she threw it over her head. And I think that shock was just the final moment for the baby. And when we pulled forward and we properly had a look at her, we thought she was just sleeping, and then we realized that she wasn't breathing anymore. And tears came to my eyes. Craig went completely silent behind me, and we drove home and left the mum in peace before she realized.